Good morning everyone, buongiorno a tutti, aspettiamo qualche minuto per iniziare la presentazione. Diamo il tempo a tutti di connettersi. Vi chiedo eventualmente di alzare la mano se mi sentite, giusto per fare un check di controllo. Perfetto, grazie, vedo che funziona. Ok, direi che possiamo iniziare. Allora, un momento che mettiamo le slide giuste. Benissimo, vedo che la maggior parte degli ospiti parlano italiano. Volete la presentazione in italiano o in inglese? Vediamo un po', per alzata di mano, italiano? Ok, inglese, English presentation? Good, we have 2 against 2, so I say we can do it in English. Right, so welcome everybody. This is the second roundtable organized by Hemargroup in the Visionary Days session. We will be talking about the product design journey from the prototype up to the mass series, or actually up to the market. We had a first roundtable around the process from the idea up to the prototype on Monday, and the content, the recording of this roundtable will be available soon on our social networks. Please follow us, like us, and you'll get the chance to see also the first presentation if you didn't have the possibility to follow it. All right, so a bit about Hemargroup. For those of you who don't know it, Hemargroup is a Swiss company. We are Swiss-based, and we actually are 100% in Switzerland, and we deal with electronic manufacturing in a broad sense. So from the idea, we do the development, we help with the development for our customers. They can be established companies or startups or private people. And from the idea we get to the prototype, and this was the case of the first roundtable, as you just said. We get after the prototype to the mass series. Actually, the core business of the of Hemargroup is electronic production. So everything related to it. So from the bare PCB, the normal assembly, up to the final mechanical assembly, and putting all the pieces together in order to make the product actually work. The engineering services cover all the product design journey of any kind of product, and depending on the needs and the request of our customers, especially if a startup or a private person doesn't have the capabilities to do an in-house development, then we can help with all these phases. We are certified for a normal quality standard, ISO 9001, but also for the military and medical equipment. By the way, we have a startup as our guest today, which is in the medical field, and we will get to know them in a couple of minutes. As I said, this is the second part of the journey of any kind of products. Yes, we are electronic focused, but actually I will try to keep my presentation as general as possible, so that we can apply these principles, these ideas, these procedures to any kind of product. And the first roundtable, we went through the idea to the engineering phase. We got prototypes, maybe working, maybe not, but after some test and pre-series, maybe we are ready to get into the production phase. Production phase is one challenging part, because you need to face all the market requirements, the changed market requirements, because at the time of the idea development, maybe the goal was a bit different than what the final product is actually going to be. And also all production related questions and issues that might arise. If we start the production phase, this means that we are ready to enter the market. So promotion and distribution is very important. And of course, and this is a recurring situation, the after sales, so with warranty issues and upgrades and software and dealing with the customer and service agreements and so on, is also a part of the whole project process. So let's face these three big phases one by one. As first, the production phase. We started with a prototype, maybe 1 piece, 5 pieces, just to test all the functionalities, and then we went to 10, 100 pieces, family and friends testing phase, and now we are ready to do the production. Production means that we are, well, not we do not need to go into very big series, so million pieces like iPhones or other smart devices available worldwide to be in a production phase. We just need to have the quantities to use the correct machineries, to use the correct process in order to fulfill the market demand. So, for example, in satellites field, the production phase is 5 pieces, maybe. In smart devices like, I don't know, a wearable smartwatch or whatever, the production phase is like hundreds of millions, maybe, hopefully. In that case, we surely in Switzerland, there are very few companies have, which can deal these kind of quantities, and we all know that Asian and American companies are much better ready for this kind of quantities. What we as Hemargroup can deal with is our production quantities from, as I said, from the prototypes, small series, up to the lower than the 1 million pieces per year. This is something real for our company. During the production phase, we go through a product sampling. So the very first, or even also the second batch of products needs to be checked very thoroughly in every detail, from the engineers, from the market, from the first beta user. And in this case, then if we have any feedback from the market, then we can still improve. If your production supplier or partner is able to do this, we can still improve some process, some issues, and some small details. Anyway, it is very, very important that at the beginning of the production phase, the major details, so that they could influence the production of the product, are already solved. One big situation, but a big issue that many startups face are the prediction of the market demand. Of course, we all want to start with 100,000 pieces and overflow the market and sell everything, and everybody's happy and the customers are giving us money, and then we are millionaires. Unfortunately, this is not always the case, but nevertheless, a good prediction of the market demand is surely helping in lowering the cost, because everything is good in producing 100,000 pieces, but if you need to put them in your garage, then and wait for 10 years to sell them, then you might go bankrupt even before selling the first couple of hundred pieces. And so the market must be addressed correctly with some promotion, some distribution. Social media are very helpful, and also the distribution channels are very, very important. There could be word of mouth distribution. So again, with social media, or participating in fairs and other events, or with finding national distributors or other possible partners in order to give you visibility and actually to make the world know your product. Very important in the distribution, and also actually directly related to the production process, is the logistics behind the whole sales chain. So, for example, at Hemargroup, we can help you with logistics, single piece logistics, or bulk piece logistics. This is an example of what we do, but there are also other partners which can, take the circuit, the PCB, the assembled circuit, and put it into the final device nationwide. For example, in Switzerland, we have these situation where we are in the center of Europe, but we are not in Europe. So sometimes it is helpful to use European companies in order to address their European market. But even producing in Switzerland is helpful for example, with Asian market. For example, there is this dual agreement between Switzerland and China, which eases up the commerce, actually the sales between Switzerland and China. One last question, a very big question on this topic, is start small or go global. This is something that everybody is facing. My suggestion personally is to start small, but be ready to go global, because going global is very intensive in terms of cost intensive in terms of resources, financial and time. And first, if you can start testing the local market, local could be your city, your nation, your region, then you usually get feedbacks and growing up strategies, so better growing up strategies. As I mentioned before, the after sales are also very important. The after sales, you need to care about the components life cycle, the final customer support. You need to care about your customer feedbacks. You need to dedicate to your customers some of your resources in order to keep them especially if your business model is based on a recurring business. So, like for example, services or monthly fee based on monthly fees, or any other subscription-based method. There is nothing worse than having the best product of the world, the best solution, but then leaving your customer behind and just sell something and goodbye forever. This is the case sometimes, yes, of course, but it should be, if you want to grow steadily and in a healthy manner, then it should be taken into account. So this was my first small introduction around the manufacturing and production of electronic products in our case, but actually valid for many different other areas. And I'll give the word now to our engineer, Matteo, for example, to start with some of our technical questions before giving then afterwards the word to Renata, who will introduce us to the healing house. So Matteo, you are a development engineer in Hemargroup. What is the difference between a prototype and an industrialized product? In your case, you need to unmute yourself.
Yes, okay. So the prototype, it's a product that comes from one idea. It's not a final product. So we have to test it, and when we do a prototype, have a lot of variant to test the functionality, the communication, the data, the reliability of the data, and don't care about the optimize this product for the production line. So the prototype comes, then you do the all the tests you need to the communication, I don't know, the data sensor measuring, and then after this test you do, you can define the requirement for the final product in order to optimize it for the production line.
So sorry, I was just a bit interrupted. I'll introduce Renata, our partner Healing House, representing our partner Healing House. Please, Renata, can you go ahead with your presentation and your situation, especially in what happened to your company and your idea when you started to go global?
Okay, so yeah, I'm with you now from Costa Rica. So it's early morning here, and hello everybody. I'm happy to be with you, and I would like to show a little presentation just about what Healing House is. And what we're working with is with pulsed electromagnetic fields. So here what I say, it's any sufficiently advanced technology is in this stage distinguishable from magic. And so what we're working with is with the healthy frequencies of our body. And now with working together with Hemargroup, I'm really so happy that they will be able to do like the real technology from Switzerland. Like up to now, we were producing in Costa Rica, and out from here, it was moving by word of mouth. And we got now to 60 different countries. So like, I really feel that now it's the moment to do it in Switzerland, and out from Switzerland, as Andrea was just saying, that we can do it to Asia, because from here it's good, all the Latino market. But it is difficult out from here to go like further. And so like just a little that you see what is our product. Okay, as you can see, like our product is my mat, and so it's a portable device, and it's all based like, okay, the most important part, of course, is the electronic part. And what we're working with is like, as the biophysicist, they know how to measure all the frequencies, the healthy frequencies of our body. And with this product that we have, we can reproduce these frequencies. And when they get to the body, so the body reminds what they can do, and that's self-healing. And so all the benefits you can see, it's like reducing inflammation, helps joints, and like helps whatever is going on in the body to balance out what is going on. And what it makes us really happy, that we have wonderful testimonials from all over the world. And it's for animals as well, so it's with animals, and like I don't know, like whatever questions you have. So like here you can see how I got into the world, but it is like really word of mouth. So what you said, like what is the base of startup, and like it's startup, it was very long startup, because sometimes when it's a new product, like it's not something that like, yeah, we have had so many times. Like this is a product that before you would like pay from $5,000 to $25,000, and they were just for clinics. So what I felt was my mission is to produce a product that you can have at home and that everybody can use. So it's like a home use device.
So Renata, this is your innovation. Actually, there was some existing medical or physical principle for hospital devices, and you translated this to a personal or home device. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah, because I felt that like the prices were just too high. So like, and like as I'm in Latino countries where people don't really have the money to buy, but there are so many health issues. So now it's really nice to see, as like with one device there is whole families having it, and then they share it with the neighbors and with friends and everybody. The results are wonderful.
So as you can see, even growing up as a startup in a Latin America country is possible, and actually the market is answering to it, as you said, with word of mouth directly. So this is something really great. Thank you, Renata, for your presentation. Matteo, back to you. What do you think that are, maybe especially for the MyMat case, the steps that need to be done in order to bring a product industrialized to life?
Yes, so when we have the prototype, after we have to find what is the right the right thing to create the final product, we need to define the requirement and then optimize this design, create a new design that it's suitable to the machine product line. And after this one, we do a series 0 to test this product with the machine and with the product line, and then we have a feedback about the production, and we do the last little change, and then the product it's ready to the series.
It is very important, as you said, the 0 series, so that the first part of the industrialization. You're right. Okay, we switch now over to the second startup. So Martino Poretti from X-Farm. He's the head of IoT products in X-Farm, an agritech or digital agritech startup based in Switzerland and Italy. Please, Martino, introduce yourself and what is X-Farm actually doing with technologies in agriculture?
Yes, hello everybody. I'm Martino. I'm working in X-Farm as the head of the IT. I'm one of the co-founder of the company. As the name says, X-Farm is active in the agriculture domain. So we build a platform, 4.0 agricultural platform, with the idea to aggregate the different services that we have around all the farms and the farm management. Maybe I will switch to my presentation so we can
yes,
go
please,
to
go
it.
ahead.
I will present a bit the company, what we are doing, and then I will present a use case which it copes good with the example of today of the prototype to the series in an application that we did in Brazil of our IoT sensor. So I will share my screen. Andrea, you give me the right, I think. Okay, I have it. Yes, I have it.
All right. Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Yes, I said X-Farm has been founded around 2 years ago. There are 3 main founders. I am the one in charge of the IoT, so the hardware-related part, which is the main focus of today. I said we started building a farm management platform completely web-based, cloud-based. Our idea is to integrate all the services around the management of the farm in one application. Many of the services are enabled by IoT, by sensor in the field, sensor on the machines, measuring the environmental parameters, the soil moisture, and all this information is then brought to the platform and enables different services we can have a look after together. The key points of X-Farm, when we build it, what we wanted is that we have a complete solution that must be very simple. The user must be easy, since the final user are not necessarily very into the IT world. So the simplicity is fundamental, and the integration. So all the services must be integrated in one application. So what offers the platform? It offers a base services very full of feature, which is for free. So you can use a lot of feature which allows you to manage all the farm for free. And then we build on top of it different modules which comes with a monthly fee or annual fee. Among them, there are many different modules, all related to the farm and to help the management of the farm and the taking decision. Among them, there are some which are enabled by the sensor, so the hardware part, sensor on the fields. For example, the irrigation and weather forecast, disease model forecasting, which uses the input of the sensor on the fields to predict, for example, how much water you need to use for different plantation, different cultivation, or warn you of the risk of some diseases coming to your cultures, and giving you also a degree of protection of them. These are just a few examples of what we are doing. On the machinery part, we also have some IoT devices which allows to track real time what the machine are doing, to automatically feels what activity have been done on the fields, and read also all the parameters of the machine real time and transmit to the cloud for the analysis of the different years and the comparison of them. As a startup, just a brief overview is more or less the common path for a startup. So we started in around 2018 with some initial seed. We defined the concept. We start to work on the free part of the platform. We had the first prototype of the IoT. This is related mainly to the hardware. We had then a major funding on end of last year. This helped us to grow up the team, to scale up, to industrialize the IoT part, which is a main point of today, and build all the structure of the company. Through the year, we are now planning a second round, which will happen hopefully end of next year, which then will give us a possibility and let's say the funds to expand also internationally and develop further some very technological fields also on the IoT part. We plan to introduce also the AI part. This will be a topic of next year for the automatic recognition of the insect through some picture in order to then be able to predict also the arrival of pathogens on the different culture. This is just a brief overview. Maybe I will just, we operate, since it's a fire management platform, offer a lot of features. We are active on different domains. So on the food certification, on the food industry, on the seed and chemical part of the farming, precision farming, on the machinery, on the new models, which are all interconnected. And on different cultivation, also coffee. We have some project in South America with a big coffee producer. We work also on hemp for medical usage. This for traceability on the blockchain in order to grant the quality of the hemp. This is just an overview of the different domains. As you can see, we are active in really different, of most of the area of the farming. Now to go back on the part of the let's say hardware and let's say IoT, we build a complete platform to allow our sensor to communicate and arrive to the cloud, and which is very open also to third-party sensor, to third-party hardware. This is, let's say, the fundamental. So the first milestone in order to have say a scalable IoT environment in any domain, to have this backend which allow to collect in a scalable and optimal way all the input of the IoT sensor. We can have a look a bit more in detail of what are our hardware that we develop. We build let's say an ecosystem of sensor which are placed on the X node, as you can see here, which this node communicate via LoRa to let's say a weather station, a complete weather station, which is act also as a gateway of LoRa. Is allowed to automatically, let's say, deploy in a completely auto-configurable network in order to collect data from the sensor in a very efficient and easy way. There is no, let's say, our devices are very simple. There is just one button, you switch it on, and the configuration is completely automatic. So there is no need of configuring gateways or so on. Everything is very simple and easy. All these allowed us to have a very optimal way of sending the data. So we are capable to use a LoRaWAN network. We create this automatically deployed LoRa network with our own protocol, very optimized with a low power payload. And then we bring the data to the internet, to the cloud via cellular connectivity. In this case, also with a very optimized protocol, which allows us to have cost per device of less than 5 cents of euro per month in more than 100 countries. You can see the earth of our devices, which are also produced by SEFA Hemargroup here in Switzerland. This is a bit the very short introduction to our company. If there are no questions, I will then go to the real use case, which I will present the deployment of our sensor in a big project that we have in South America, in Brazil, for a coffee cultivation. Okay, so if there are no, I don't see any answer or something. So I assume that we can go on with the real use case. Just 1 second, I will share my second presentation. Okay, do you see my screen? I think yes, should work. Exactly. So here is a real use case of the deployment of IoT sensor. So our ecosystem that I explained you before. Here is a pilot project, a rather big pilot project, with the goal of optimizing the irrigation of the coffee plantation in the region of Patrocínio in Brazil. And we have as main sponsor Lavazza, the foundation of Lavazza, and the cooperation of the University of São Paulo. Has been chosen the Fazenda Rinco Estrelas, which is one of the biggest, the owner is one of the biggest coffee producer of Brazil, and is very modern and keen to new technology. For this reason, has been chosen for this, let's say, first proof of concept experiment, with the idea then to scale up to other farms in Brazil. This summer we sent all the sensor, and here, I mean, the logistic in South America is not that easy, so it's also an aspect to consider. Everything went smooth. They were able to install our devices. There have been some accidents. They have broken our solar panel of the station with a car. For this reason, they built then a fence to protect it. And one main point there for the deployment, which was a bit unforeseen, was the connectivity, which is very, very poor in some area of Brazil. And but then we find a solution. And for this reason, we have only one main gateway, which is connected via cellular. All the other nodes communicate via LoRa through the main gateway. Here we see the nodes that have been planted directly by the owner in the different coffee plantation. The project runs on an area of around 60 hectares of coffee, so it's rather a very big portion for this test. And here we see the installation of the soil moisture sensor in the coffee. As I mentioned before, the connectivity was an issue here. So the first cellular, say, provider was more than 20 kilometers away. For this reason, we had to optimize with a very performant antenna in order to get the signal. Here you see our XSense station, which just said act as a IoT weather station, plus act also as a gateway for the LoRa nodes in the field. On top of that, we have also on the weather station a camera which shoots 1 picture per day, which gives a very nice time lapse and vision on how the cultivation is growing during the year with this picture per day allows. Here we see this the part of the platform is a screenshot of our farm management platform, which allows them to analyze all the data. This project, as I said, is meant to optimize the usage of water. So the goal here was to propose a new irrigation strategy, compare it to the current irrigation strategy, And for this reason, the new irrigation strategy has been proposed in two ways: the 100% water usage of the new strategy, the 50% water usage of the new strategy, so that at the end of the year we can compare all the data, also based on the sensor on the fields, and optimize the strategy to have the less use possible of water with the maximum, let's say, yield of coffee and the quality of coffee on the other side. Yes, that was it. It was, let's say, the concrete use case of our productive devices in a rather a bit exotic project, and not so easy, as I mentioned, because of the logistic and the, let's say, usage of the IoT sensor in another continent and rather with poor infrastructure.
Martino, thank you for your presentation. I have one question. X-Farm is, you showed also the electronics produced by Hemargroup. Thank you. And X-Farm has a heart developed in Switzerland, but all the other parts, like the sensing elements, for example, the rain meter, the temperature sensor, and so on, are from other companies, actually, because they are specialized in that field. Was this the first decision that you made, or is this a decision that you had to take after, I don't know, trying to build your device, or what are the plus and contra of this strategy against your own device?
Yes, it's a good question. No, indeed, we tried to build our weather station completely from scratch. It seems easy, but it's not. And one thing that always need to be taken into consideration for the IoT devices is the environment of usage. A weather station is probably the most extreme because it's outside on the sun, on the snow, on the rain, 360 days per year. Therefore, to have a reliable hardware on the mechanics and on electronics is a challenge. It seems an easy task, but it's not. So we tried it, and we since we are not, our company is not doing only the IoT part, we said that is too much to start with. So we do a step back. We focus on the art, let's say, on the communication of the IoT part, but the mechanic of the weather station we will buy from company which spent years in order to optimize it.
This is a great example of how actually developing a prototype not always leads to a final product or industrialized product. In your case, as you just mentioned, okay, you had a prototype, you had maybe a couple of devices developed by your own, but at the end, it was a winning decision maybe to rely on experts, partners, especially for the weather station situation. Thank you, Martino. It was very, very interesting. All right, so
Thank you.
I will ask the public if there are some questions about our roundtable. Actually, a roundtable is meant to be an interactive session. So please go ahead if you have any. I don't see big questions. So you can also chat if you don't want to speak. Okay, then I will, in the meantime, waiting for the public to ask some direct questions. I will ask another one to Matteo, our development engineer. So, what do you think is the big difference between, a consumer product like the one that everybody can buy in a supermarket, or an industrial product like the ones that are installed on industrial buildings? So actually, what is the difference for a product between B2B and B2C in your way?
Okay, so the prototypes product have a lot of variant, a lot of different things to test it in order to see if the product works, because comes from one idea, and then the product finish is optimized to the product line, so have different component in order to work well the machine for the product line, speed up the process productive, and also save money to productive, speed well, and have a component that are suitable with the industrial machines.
Yes, this is for the production phase, but my question was about what is the difference between a product for the general public and a product for the industrial public? So the difference between B2C and B2B, or maybe Martino, this could also be a question for you. What do you see in your projects when dealing and speaking with big companies, which are actually B2B, or with dealing and speaking with small private entrepreneurs like B2C farmers, or as you call them, the B2F?
Yes, so I would say the main difference is, let's say, the end user is the one that at the end gets the device and let's say switch it on and test it. So it's the one that gives you the best feedback when you are developing, when you are going from prototype to the installation, in order to get what need to be improved. Some things seems obvious, but when you are in the office, when you are in the laboratory, but when the customer gets the device, maybe he has some question that for you are obvious and for he no. So it's very important to get this feedback in order to be able to adapt the prototype in order to make it very let's say user friendly, and let's say that is causing less as possible of question, troubles, and let's say and noise around it.
I think the main thought about your answer is that at the end there are always humans.
Exactly. So at the end, the user will be always a human, and depending on the domain. So our domain, say, unfortunately or maybe fortunately, it depends. Generally, are people which are not very into the technical things. So it's key that the product opt on that direction. Different is if you deal with B2B, for example, for integration of third-party sensor, or if you want to reuse part of your hardware for let's say giving it in white label or so on. Then it's completely different. Then you go more on the technical detail. You need to explain how it works on the background. Let's say what happened on the back of the device. Which at the end of the end user is absolutely not interested in it. The user just wanted he can use the data, he can see the data, but how it happens is generally irrelevant for the end user.
Okay, thank you very much. Renata, one last question for you. The usage of the device, as mentioned by Martino, actually, is has this been a problem for your final users, actually, or for your final customers? Was it easy to explain how to use your device, or was it tough, and was it a big issue at the beginning?
The thing at the beginning, and it still is, it's not so hard about how to use the device, but what it is about. As people don't really sense anything because there are no vibrations in it and no things. So like the user doesn't really believe in it, and this is why the only way really to move it is by word of mouth. But like where we had with the first, like when you said about prototypes, as we started with a device that was connected to the computer. So like it's a long process that we had like now to get where we are now, and now with your help we were getting even better now to like make it like with what we said, like now it is with the Wi-Fi. So now we're seeing with the Bluetooth, if you can help with that. And yeah, it's an application. So the application now we are working on that as well to make it easier, always easier for the client. Okay,
also from your side, the final user, the final human is the most important part of the whole chain of events, a product into the market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So sorry, Renata, go ahead.
like what you said before, like as well, like that we like what we do with our clients, that afterwards we have all these WhatsApp groups in all the languages, so we really stay always connected with them, and I think this gives more value to the product.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a good hint. So staying connected nowadays with the customers is one key aspect. Good. If there are any questions from the public, I'll be ready to answer them. Okay, so if there aren't any, then I will end here the roundtable, the presentation. I hope that it has been interesting for all of you. The content of the recording of this presentation will be available in the next weeks online, and of course follow us on the social medias and look for us in fairs and papers and wherever we might appear for the newest ideas and thoughts about technologies, innovation, startupping, and the world of electronics. I thank you very much. Also, all our guests, Martino from X-Farm, Renata from Healing House, and Matteo directly from the development team of Hemargroup. If you have any questions related to manufacturing or development in electronic world, just feel free to ask me directly, to contact me in any means. And I hope to see you all soon. And thank you very much for attending this roundtable. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.